Good morning, good morning. Nice to see you all. Take a view, guys, take a view, take a view. Ladies and gents, we've got too long on that clock, actually, by the way, so I've run over quite happily. It comes here, Izzy, comes here, this side. We're all very good friends already. Ladies and gents, good morning, and it's lovely to see you all here at Griff. I hope you're having a fabulous time, just like I am too, meeting everybody that's here. My name's Simon Taylor. I'm part of the Swiperight group, and our fundamental piece around experiences and brand experiences. And with us today, we've got some completely different, actually, structures and views when we're going to be talking about experiences in hospitality themselves. Virginia is a three-star Michelin restaurant in Copenhagen. It just exudes hospitality in a very, very natural way. And Isidoro is a CMO up at NH Hotels, and is really transforming what that brand fundamentally stands for in different experiences across his channels and across his geographies. So, ladies and gentlemen, a quick round of applause for Izzy and Virginia, welcoming them here. Now listen, who does good experiences? Just quick show of hands. Who's got a really good experience within there? Yeah, Jennifer, you're right. Griff is a good experience. Well done. Good hand up. Yeah, good experiences. I think some people know what good experiences are and some people don't. But from you guys and from your perspectives, if you think about experiences, surely it's just hospitality. You know, we're all in hospitality. We all give good hospitality. Surely that's a good experience. Virginia, tell us a little bit about where you are in Copenhagen and your experiences there.
Well, I think it is hospitality, it is good service, but I think it's changing, and it's changing on all levels, especially in three-star restaurants. We don't have a dress code at all. We want people to be comfortable, and I think we're seeing this trend globally. Service needs to be attentive without being too reserved. And we're very unique in that we don't really, outside of the technicalities of service, we let our team shine and let their personalities come through. We have 14 nationalities, and our guests are from all over the world. So it's very important for the team's personality to shine through, for them to tell their stories with the dishes in the restaurants, and to really read the guest themselves and have a sense of what they think would make that experience special for our guest.
And Isidoro, you've looked at experiences right across your NH group, both in brand and you've got the sort of collection brands that you brought through. How is that, or how is in the creation of that brand was experience a consideration, and what sort of things did you deliver?
Well, I guess that defining a specific experience for each of the brands of the portfolio has been one of the key elements of success of the repositioning and the relaunch of the company in the last 4 or 5 years. I guess that the smart part of what we did is we tried to bring all this quote-unquote scientific approach that in other marketing, other areas of the marketing you usually use. I mean, in terms of you test advertising before you put it on air, you try concepts before you send them to the market. I guess that for one of the first times, we did this scientific approach to what were the moments of truth in consumers getting to our product. What were the moments of understanding that I like this brand, I dislike this brand in terms of the service at the hotel, and try to measure it and try to refine it through the measurements. And definitely this is one of the things that has helped us to have three very different brands now in our portfolio with their own operational promise in hand.
And very quickly, your 3 brands in your portfolio?
There will be the NH, the classical brand, the only one we had only 4 years ago. NH Collection, this hotel is an NH Collection. And now, NHOW, and now and how depends on the language in which you pronounce it. And each of them have their own guide style. Each of them have their own advertising, but they have their own operational promise. Things happen in an now that will never happen in an NH collection. That will never happen in an H, and vice versa.
And you talked about that moment. What did you call it? The
moments of truth.
A moment of truth. Is that when they pay the bill? Or?
The moments of truth is there are moments of truth. very, I'm sure that there's very interesting consumer insight. Most of us, when we enter into a room of a hotel, we open the door. We didn't release our package, and we walk through to the window. We look in the window, and there we throw the package there. And at that moment, it's a moment of truth. If what you've seen in those 2 seconds is going to very much color the nature of your stay in the hotel. Also, the smelling when you enter the lobby, how it smells, how that first reaction, it's really important. So there are several ones. The first thing that you see when you arrive to the breakfast in the morning, first thing that you see, it's important.
And so if you've, as operators, I mean, fundamentally, operate incredible hospitality. As operators, do you break down that experience journey? Do you call it experience and then start to go, right, what should people experience? How should that go? I mean, Isidoro, you have to formulate that because you have to communicate it and flow it through. But what do you do within your team then?
We're a little bit more organic, but one of the biggest changes we made in 2015 was that our chef wanted to break down the walls between the kitchen and the guest. He wanted to be one big open room, to be closer to the guest, for the guest to be able to come up and ask questions and see what we're doing, and be also a part of the service in a way. So we actually lost 4 tables in the restaurant with that remodel, but we gained so much more. It brought a lot of energy to the room. The chefs loves it. Our front of house team love it. And now the chefs are also involved in serving. So it's this beautiful ballet between the 2 service teams, helping to create the experience.
So you've looked at it as more of a holistic space, saying, right, this is what we've got to do in our theatre, if you like, and this is how we want to go and do that. But how does it work with the team? I mean, the chef's got an idea. How does he then flow it down into the rest of the people that are working? And you got a new staff member, or whatever that means for the new staff member. How do you sort of envelop them in that culture?
Well, one of he's now our assistant restaurant manager, and his first day of work, Mattia came in and was ready to start and had gone through our program of this is how we set the plates, this is what we do. And he went to our chef, Rasmus, and said, "Chef, do you have any advice for me? Can you tell me anything? It's my first day, I'm ready for service." And our chef looked at him and said, "Be yourself." And I think that's really important. We're also a big family, and we feel like we're welcoming not just customers, but guests into our home. We spend so much time in the restaurant and so much time together that it really has a family atmosphere. We're all in it together. And I think you feel that. I think that energy and that happiness comes across in service.
And Isidoro, how do you formulate those sort of experiential moments and flow them down through your teams too? Because you're not talking about one theatre, you're talking about many theatres across geographies. It's a different discipline.
For us, training, it's a must. In terms of services, for example, this is another thing that we also have developed, and it's been developed through my team, is that we call it the principles of service. And the way we talk, the kind of vocabulary, the tone of voice of our 3 brands are different. And the grooming is different. We potentiate and we empower people to have some kind of tattoos and bracelets in now that we don't want them to have them people in an age. And we try. What we do is we put all this into webinars and trainings, and we've invented some kind of games. So to make it more amusing and to make it more learnable from the employee's standpoint, and we make everything permeate downwards, and it's part of our targets and goals at the beginning of the year.
And we've heard a lot, even in the last few days, about how people, the hospitality, that very natural hospitality brooch, it's the person at the front. Marco yesterday said it's about front of house, and there was a thing we had to get out and understand that piece too, and really nail that down. There seems to be a lot about people and about the ability they have to sort of change that experience. So are you formulating what is an experience, or are you employing the right people? There's two slightly different intonations there. I mean, what I'm saying is, are you creating experience, or are you actually finding the right people that resonate with your brand to actually come in and complement what is your theatre? You know, you've got actors on stage. What do you do with your teams there?
I think ours is a bit of a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our team has the ability to make decisions if they want to do something special for a guest, and we share information. Like if we're talking to a guest when they come in and it's their birthday or they mention a wine that they love, then we'll go and tell the other team member and maybe do something special for them.
Tell everybody what you were telling me yesterday about if you've got a couple that have been arguing. This is brilliant. I was like, great,
Well,
I've got to go there with my wife.
Sometimes you can feel it when a couple comes in or some people come in and you just feel the energy. Something's not right, and we always try to think, okay, what can we do to turn that around? Maybe they haven't had a great day. Sometimes they'll tell us, oh, I got a speeding ticket on the way or a parking ticket or something. And sometimes you don't know, but you just sense something is going on, and it's our job to kind of turn that around and also take them away from what's happening outside of our space, because we really feel like it's a journey for the guest.
And is it, how do you said you sort of empower people to sort of develop that experience? Do you give them parameters by saying, you know, you can give Mr. X a voucher for a beer in the bar in now and a champagne in a collection hotel? Is it formulated, or do you give people that sort of width?
I mean, you cannot try. You can try, but you're not going to accomplish. You cannot standardize everything. So, and the nature of the people is something key in all this stuff. As you were mentioning, as you were talking, I was remember of. I mean. This very beautiful story of a manager that we had in Barcelona. This family came in with their 6 years old kid, and they lost the teddy bear. The teddy bear went away with all the laundry at some moment in time. They had to leave, and we couldn't find the teddy bear. I mean, it was a crisis, family crisis. And as he left, 3 or 4 or 5 hours afterwards, we found it in the laundry. We found the teddy bear. So this super service-driven manager in the Barcelona hotel, he took the teddy bear. He went around in the city. He took pictures, and we sent the teddy bear with these photographs, saying, "Sorry, family, my dear family, I went for a trip to Barcelona. You didn't take me, so I had to do it on my own. And here are the pictures I had, and here I am back." I mean, this kind of approach and imagination and love for your client that this guy showed absolutely unexpectedly from the standards of the company is this the kind of things that we love to have, and they complement what you can do from the headquarters.
And it's interesting because, you know, as a brand guy, you guys have formulated what is a brand, what is quite naturally is a brand experience, and what you're doing is you're formulating these sectors. But within that, from background experience, we used to look at things like advocates and admirers and ambassadors and the journeys they have and how you break that down and whether somebody's going to come back or just shout about you or, you know, all those types of things. Do you break that down? Do you actually look at that as I want these guests to be coming back, or is that a much more organic thing? Is it a really big mix of return guests? What do you try and develop?
It is, and it's a little bit more organic, but we see time and time again. I'm often welcoming guests into the restaurant at lunch, and I ask them, how did you hear about us? And the top 3 answers for us are Michelin, World's 50 Best, and a friend or family member. And that's the most important for us, because your guest is your most important ambassador, no matter how they find you at the end of the day. And each one is unique.
And Izzy, how do you measure that? You've talked about all these little touch points, but how do you measure it? Are you sitting there at the very end with the finance guys and finding out who came and returned?
No.
Are you following them on social media? Are you commenting on their Instagram feed, and that's a good thing? What's your quantification?
We track everything that we can. We have it's a nightmare, but I mean we have a very well developed loyalty program. We have 8 million people in our loyalty program, NH Rewards, and we track that. But what we try is to have something that is really tied to the brand, that it's an attribute that can be very well fixed in terms of the customer when he thinks of our brand. NH, not an NH collection. NH, we have it positioned as a trustworthy brand. We try to make you feel that we are not going to give you any surprise, but everything's going to work. Your breakfast will be at the right time. There will be someone in the front desk. It will not take you more than 2 minutes to check out. This is not Disneyland. This is something that is functional, and you will arrive at 8 p.m. after a business day abroad from home. And when you get in your room, everything will be tidy, clean, functional, temperature right. It will work. And at 7 o'clock, when you leave for breakfast and then to your taxi, the experience must have been seamless in terms of what you feel. And what I tried is our customers to believe that the next time they are thinking of going to not at the sexiest place in the world, Barcelona or Amsterdam, but a secondary city or tertiary city in the middle of Spain or in the Netherlands or in Germany, where we have a lot of hotels, they will think, okay, it's not the sexiest product, but I know everything is going to be right. And this is the kind of loyalty we're approaching and we're looking for.
And so what sort of surprise, delight, or new experiences have you developed within the hotel's collection? Well, what sort of new things have you done? So making things work, I think for a lot of people is this is the standard stuff. You want it to make it work, but I quite like the idea that you get the right metrics to make sure that the people and the consumer coming through has sort of been listened to of what they want. Sometimes they don't want that. Don't surprise and delight me right now. I'm bloody working. Let me get on with it. And you sort of differentiated that. But what are some of the experiences that you've developed within that for?
Well, we pretend to have several ones, but one of the we believe we have a well-known breakfast, for example. I mean, we have a really rich breakfast, and the people that are staying here in the hotel, I hope that they had a good breakfast this morning. Today, the breakfast space. It's occupied by Griff, but the ordinary place to have breakfast here in Krasnapolski is the Winter Garden, and it's an amazing experience in the morning. When you go there with all that light, all the plants that we have there, I mean, you start the day in a very good mood.
And how do you develop a current restaurant concept? How do you keep things fresh? How do you change things up? How do you, obviously there's seasonal menu changes or whatever comes through, but how do you change your experience? And do you measure that as a team? Is it something that the chef does? What sort of stuff do you get up to?
It's something everybody does, and different people come with different ideas. Different team members will come in with different ideas of things that we can do. Guest experience in the restaurant industry has become very I wouldn't say competitive, but it's changed a lot over the last decade. Guests are expecting more. It's not just enough for some guest at this level to come in and have a nice meal and nice service. They want to interact with the chef. They want to feel like they're a part of something. We offer tours, kitchen tours, and a tour of our cellar to all of our guests. We've also added, in the last few years, we have a dry aging meat room where our chefs have the fun task of playing around with different ingredients, making our in-house charcuterie. It's not part of our menu, but when guests are on the tour, we offer them a taste of 2 different ones every day, and that's something that changes every week. And it's fun for the chefs, it's fun for the guests, something different to see and be a part of.
Superb. So, with such different operations, fundamentally, I find it really interesting, but I don't know this, so I haven't actually briefed this bit yet, but where do you get your inspirations from on experiences? Is there any crossover between you two about where you sort of think, hang on, that's really cool, we like that? Are you getting your inspiration from a bit of the everyday, or do you seek stuff out online, or where do you guys get your experiences?
I guess that from
inspiration from
every place. I mean, as you know, and I'm sure Virginia has the same focus. There are now review web pages where people express themselves to the last word. So you can go there and find inspiration for everything, just without leaving your computer. I mean, then as I love going to restaurants. I haven't been to Geranium, but definitely I will go. You as a guest also should have the sensitivity to understand what makes you happy or not, and try to project what will make happen to the rest of the people. So everywhere. I mean, I think that things that we've done. I mean, we've just released an electronic tool in NH. We've been the first company in Europe to do it, where you can check out online without going through the front desk. And it's a personal experience. I mean, when you wake up in the morning on a business day and you start calculating the time you need to be in that certain office, and you take 20 minutes for the taxi and so on, and you go tracking back and you say, okay, but how long will it take me to be in the queue at the front desk in the morning? It can take me 2 minutes or 25 minutes. And that can ruin your day and can ruin your routine that morning, because it's not the same. It's estimating 25 minutes and only taking you 2, and waiting 23 minutes in the lobby than sleeping. And that's a moment of truth. So if you have this computer-driven thing and you have it in your mobile and you say, you do dick, and you leave it to a taxi, these kind of things.
And Virginia, where do you get your inspiration from? Or where does your team get your inspiration from too?
We're all big food lovers and love the industry. And so we all go out and eat a lot, every chance we can, at different restaurants, and we bring back different experiences from there and say, oh, I really loved this, or I felt like this was missing, or it's really a personal thing, I think.
Seems like a really communicative team, very linear, very flat sort of structure that involves into it, which is fundamentally very different, actually, to your structure, which is vertical per brand. But both just as interesting, actually, as one another. I can't wait to come and visit you in your restaurants, and thank you for having us here at your beautiful hotel. We'll follow both of you, no doubt. I'm sure I have loads of LinkedIn requests as of now. But ladies and gentlemen, please thank me in welcoming our guests this afternoon.
Thank you.